And are you Mr. Foss? Do you have any objection to this attorney standing in for Mr. Kuntz? Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client? Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Foss, did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment? All right, okay. State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? Okay. Let's go off the record for a moment. No, all right, sure. All right, so are you all proceeding? Okay, just one second. So, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? Okay. Mr. Foss, did you review court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses? Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him? Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense? Mr. Foss, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Has anyone, just one second. Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, the state is recommending deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense, is that the plea? State, is that the plea? Yes. Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions? Outside the agreement, the state is recommending that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. There be a TAP evaluation and no contact with Nicholas Alcides, Alsides. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State, evidence. All right, and state, did you have a chance to speak with the complainant? All right, thank you. You may be excused. Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate place? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing? Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client? Okay. All right, so gang affiliation for you? All right, and what was it previously? Mm-hmm. All right. Any mental health issues? Any drug issues? Have you used drugs in the past? Okay. Thank you for being honest. All right, 5 years deferred adjudication, no contact and restitution, if any, to Nicholas Alisades, plus proof of employment within 30 days of release, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, no unsupervised contact with minors. Do you have any minor children? And do you live with them? So who are they living with right now? All right, gang supervision, TAP evaluation, in custody, follow recs. There's going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once that's completed, 100 hours will be deemed satisfied, and 100 hours will be deemed satisfied once he completes the hostility course. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person and regular random UAs. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? All right. Did you review the, oh, and I'm sorry, there's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Yes. I was thinking that the gang supervision would handle that, but if gang supervision said there is, he's not affiliated or not active, then field visits 1 time per month until further notice. Yes. All right, thank you. Yes. No. Yes. All right, and let me just tell you, that may change once you've been on probation for a while, but this is a very serious offense. I have that combined with the gang affiliation, and I want to just make sure that the children are protected and they don't have any bad influences. You understand? Okay. All right. Well, you're telling me that y'all live together, correct? So if y'all live together and you're in a relationship together, I don't think she'll have any issues supervising you with the children, right? Okay. Mhm. No, I appreciate your honesty. So that's what I'm saying. So once you've been on probation for a while, if your attorney wants to approach me about it again, then I'll reconsider, okay? All right, thank you so, all right, thank you so much. You're welcome. All right, who else is left? Yes, come down. Yes. Mhm. All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, how old are you, sir? All right, Norma, set this for a plea deadline date on April 17th. All right, thank you. All right, and deputies, you can take, yes. Okay, all right, no problem. Let me see. Megan, sorry to interrupt on Magana. Have you finished speaking with her? Okay. Oh no, you can speak to her because we're running a little bit behind with the witness. And deputy, they are done with Mr. Gonzalez. And I'm sorry, Norma, what date did we give Magana? All right, thank you. Sure, no problem. And state, just let me know when your witness is here. Okay. All right. Whenever people say they're parking, I find that suspect because are okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. In those files, I did write 422, right? Hopefully I didn't put 522. Oh, it should be 422. Thank you. It's been a long day. Mhm. Let me see. No, let me see. Let me do this first and then I'll go back to that. All right. So what I have in judge's notes is 5-6. Mm-hmm. And deputies, whenever you are ready to bring out Mr. Yes. And then Megan, can you see if the attorneys are out there? Yes. All right. All right. Thank you. And they're bringing your client out, Mr. Goldstein. You're, well, thank you very much. But you know what I always tell people? It's, thank you for saying that I have patience, but this is what I was elected to do. So, okay. Oh no, well, I will. You know what? It's so funny. We always have I will bring flowers, right? Because my mom always says that other than being at home, the most time you spend is at work, and you should always have something pretty to look at. So these flowers here, we call them violent flowers because the smell is strong, but they're so beautiful and they smell so nice. And it has St. Mary's colors. Look at my law school making beautiful arrangements. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that from both the state and the defense. All right. All right. Okay, you know what this reminds me of? Did you see the episode of Seinfeld where George bought the big salad? And so, well, anyway, he bought a big salad, right? And when he went to go give it to the person, the lady that he was sort of dating, she took it and she handed it to the lady. So George's whole thing was, she doesn't know that that big salad came from me. It really wasn't from it. So that was the whole episode where he wanted that lady to know, hey, the girl I'm dating didn't pay for that big salad, didn't bring the big salad. So I appreciate you for giving St. Mary's University their due. Yeah. And I'm so glad you had a chance to go. Yeah. Mhm. Yes. Mhm. 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 Oh, well, that is nice. Hey, if I'm telling you, you need to write your memoirs. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to write it and tell it the way I want to tell it. Well, thank you very much. Oh, they smell awesome. Oh, yeah, you can, well, their attorneys are in their room, so they say they're going to come out in a minute. And then, yes, and you can just have him, sitting at the table. Thank you. Bashan, on this one, I think I'm missing. Oh, I see. It got printed, but I found it. Oh, and do you all have the stipulations? All right, thank you. Oh, you all will need to put it on the record in front of the jury, but you know, and yeah, can you pull a file for me? It's 2016 CR 9580. 9580. All right. And Megan, do you have an update on your witness, the state's witness? Sure. Do you need any cough drops? All right. And Sam, you need to check on that cough. I don't want anything to happen to you.
I think it's because I used to be a smoker many years ago, and I have asthma, so I don't know if that.
Wow. All right. But Sean, here is this.
Okay. Here, that film you blank one and the other one, just in case.
And then I have a question. Mhm. Well, here's my question. Which one is the one, is his body cam viewing, what viewing, I'm assuming it was viewing State's Exhibit number 62? Okay. And then, no, we're not on the record. I'm trying to figure out what you all are saying. So I'm trying to get clear.
Jason Gearhead and Megan Galloway for the state, Your Honor.
John Hunter, Jerry Goldstein, and Thomas Lane for Mr. McIntyre. We're ready to proceed.
And Mr. McIntyre, you're here?
Yes, yes, Your
All
Honor.
right. The reason why I asked, I can't see beyond this screen. All right, let's bring the jurors in.
All rise for the jury.
Everyone, please be seated. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. I think all of the computer equipment is now working. We shall see. All right, state, yes.
Your Honor, may I present the stipulation with that the state and defense have entered into with regard to the previous matter that the jury heard about.
Yes. And what exhibit number would you all like to mark that as?
I will mark it as
If it could be a court exhibit number 1, Judge?
Oh, we can say court 1 if everyone is okay with calling it courts 1.
may I
Yes.
present it to the jury and then I will hand it to the court.
Any objections to the defense reading it into the record for the jurors?
No, Your Honor.
I don't think it matters who reads it.
Yeah.
This is a stipulation of evidence, which will be a part of the evidence in this cause. The state of Texas and defendant Taymor McIntyre agree and stipulate that the individual identified by the Bexar County medical examiner as Mark Anthony Saldivar is the deceased named in the indictment, and that the cause of death is a gunshot wound by fire.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll mark it as court 1.
Thank you.
And for the record, the stipulations have been signed. It was signed by your client as well, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, and he is present. You signed that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so it has been signed by the defendant, by the attorney for the defendant, and also by the assistant criminal district attorney. All right, State, you may call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls crime scene investigator Allison Bustamante.
Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up for members of the jury. If you can state your name and spell your last name, please.
Allison Bustamante. It's Bustamante.
All right, State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Bustamante, can you please just tell the jury how you're currently employed
I'm employed with the city of San Antonio.
and what do you currently do for the city of San Antonio?
I'm a crime scene investigator.
And can you please describe what a crime scene investigator does?
We're responsible for responding to calls, analyzing, looking for evidence. We process, collect, and make sure that it's submitted correctly.
And do you have to go through certain training to become a crime scene investigator for city of San Antonio?
Yes.
And can you just briefly tell them what type of training you have to go through?
Initially, it's a modified version of the police academy. You have 400 hours of coursework that's geared toward crime scene, mock crime scene, things like that.
And let me take you back to April of 2017. Were you then employed with the city of San Antonio SAPD as a crime scene investigator?
Yes.
And on a particular occasion on April 28, 2017, were you dispatched to a scene at 7243 San Pedro?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury why you were dispatched there, please?
Initially, I was called out just for an abandoned vehicle. When I arrived, the officer advised me that it was for an abandoned vehicle that was possibly involved in a murder.
And after you made that initial contact, what were your duties at that scene?
To walk the scene, to look for and identify any items of evidence, to photograph, to decide what needed to be printed, latent prints.
And did you collect any items at that scene at that particular day?
I did.
And did you do anything else at the scene?
I took photographs at that location.
I'm sorry, what?
I took photographs.
Okay. And did anybody else assist you at the scene?
Yes, I did call for some help.
And who was that individual?
That was CSI R. Hurtado.
And did he also make the scene that day?
Yes.
And do you know what his responsibilities were?
For latent prints of the exterior of the vehicle.
Now, on this particular day, did you make access to the vehicle on the inside?
No,
And why is that?
we were in need of a search warrant.
And so y'all did not have the search warrant for the inside of the vehicle, but you did for the outside.
The outside a search warrant is not needed.
And so after you performed all your duties at this location, what happened to the vehicle?
The vehicle was sent to the ground and pound to be stored in a secure area, waiting the search warrant.
And when it was transferred to the pound, did you ever make access to it over at the pound?
I did not.
And did you ever see the vehicle again?
I did.
And where did you see the vehicle?
The vehicle was going to be processed, so that's when I had the vehicle removed from the pound and brought to the 9th Street secure vehicle processing facility that we have.
Okay. And did you at that time have a search warrant for the inside of the vehicle?
We did.
And did you gain access to the inside?
Yes.
And then at that time, did you collect evidence or I'm sorry, what did you do at that time once you at that secure location?
It would help do you have a version of my report?
Yes.
To refresh my memory?
You have 2 reports for this case, is that correct?
Correct.
I'll show you what's been marked City Exhibit 104 and 105. Can you just go ahead and review those and tell me if you recognize
Yes, I do.
them? And are these fair and accurate copies of your report that you made for this case?
They are.
Okay, and so if you can review that and then answer the question.
So on this day, I searched for evidence. I also completed a sketch of the items that were to be collected as evidence, and I collected the evidence.
Well, okay, let's go back to San Pedro Avenue and speak about that location. I'll show you what's been marked City number 69 through 87. Might be upside down at times, but if you can go through that and review those and tell me if you don't mind, keep it right over. There. Thank you. Now, state exhibit number 69 through 87. Are you familiar with each of these photos?
Yes,
And do they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to be?
yes,
And I know that a couple of these photos were not taken actually at the San Pedro Avenue. Is that correct?
correct.
And it's in particular 87, state exhibit number 87 and 86 were taken, where were they taken at?
They were taken back at our crime scene lab.
Okay. But all the other photos were taken at the scene on San Pedro?
Correct.
Your Honor, we'll offer state exhibit number 69 through 87 into evidence with tentative defense for any objections.
No objections.
Thank you.
All right, State's Exhibit 69 through 87 is admitted without objection.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll show you what's been marked state exhibit number 69. Can you tell the jury what we're looking at here?
This was the location of the vehicle in the parking lot.
And when you're at a scene and you're taking pictures, can you tell the jury when you initially take the pictures, what do you do when you're at a scene and the version of taking pictures? For instance, can you tell them what you're doing here with state exhibit number 70?
That's part of a sequence. When you arrive at a scene and you decide what you're going to be photographing, you're going to take a 360 of the area to put everything in relationship to one another to orientate the viewer.
So in this particular photo, if I may, if you're facing the car, you take a right and you took a picture to the right.
Correct.
Okay, state exhibit number 71, you're turning you're facing away from the car, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I think they get the picture here. State exhibit number 72, is that just turning again?
Correct.
State exhibit number 73, also turning,
Correct.
okay. And then now we're on to state exhibit number 74. What is this a picture of?
A picture of the abandoned vehicle.
And this is from the front of the vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. State exhibit number 75 is just a different angle from the back view, is that correct?
Correct.
And can you read the license plate on that vehicle?
The license plate is Hotel.
You. I'm going to show state exhibit number 76. And in this photo, again from the front, but it looks like there's a little grassy area and bushes. But I see some numbers. Can you describe and tell the jury what those numbers indicate?
Those are the items that I have identified needed to be collected as evidence.
And this item here is number 1. What would that item be?
Number 1 was a wallet, an empty wallet.
And number 2?
Number 2 is an empty cigarette package.
Number 3?
3 is an empty chocolate milk container.
And number 4?
4 is an empty black glasses pouch.
Oh, I'm sorry?
A glasses pouch.
Okay. I'm gonna show you what's been marked state exhibit number 77. It looks like a closer view of item number 1. And I think you indicated that that was a wallet.
Correct.
State exhibit number 78 is a closer view of that wallet. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. And then state exhibit number 79. Again, closer views of number 2 and number 3, the cigarette package and the milk container.
Correct.
State exhibit number 80. That is, it looks like now there's a 4 and a 5. What would 5 indicate?
5 is a pair of sunglasses. There was a missing lens.
And 4 is, just to make sure, is that empty glasses pouch.
Correct.
State exhibit number 81 is another angle of the, looks like just from the distance from that vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. State exhibit number 82. What does it indicate with this 6 here?
There was another item found. E6 was a cross pendant.
And it looks like there's an E7.
Correct. E7 would indicate where I took swabs. I took a swab of the exterior hood.
And can you describe to the jury what you mean by swab?
In an effort to obtain biological material, possible biological material, we'll swab that area.
The close up of number 6, state exhibit number 83. Is that what was near that car?
Correct, underneath the vehicle.
And then another photo of just a long ways of along that curve area, state exhibit number 84. And it indicates that there's, what is this right here?
That was an empty beer can.
Now, I guess when you're at a scene, do you know what happened?
No,
So how do you know what to sort of collect and what not to collect?
based on what's around the vehicle, if you can tell that it's an area that's generally clean, they don't have a lot of debris, trash lying around, items that look out of place. You can also tell if an item has been there for quite a while. If say it was the can, it looked rusted, or dirt and things on top of it. So you're trying to find items that were most likely just put there.
And so tell me hypothetically, at times, do you sometimes collect things that are not associated with the crime?
Correct,
And at other times, there's stuff that is definitely associated with the crime.
correct.
Okay. I'm gonna show you state exhibit number 85. You can tell me what that is.
That is a memory card.
And where did you obtain this memory card from?
That was given to me by an officer on scene.
And do you remember the officer's name by any chance?
That was Officer Halbert.
Thank you. And then state exhibit number 86. Can you tell us what that is?
That is E5, what I initially photographed, the sunglasses with the missing lens, and then an additional lens that was recovered in a final walkthrough of the scene at a different location. I believe it's under the vehicle.
Under the vehicle?
I don't want to misspeak. Yes, under the passenger side.
Thank you. Now, at this particular scene, you stated that you collected some items.
Yes.
Brought some items with you, is that correct?
Yes.
Start with this one. I'll mark this state exhibit number 107. And if you don't mind, can you just turn that package and tell me if you recognize it?
Yes, I do. It has the markings that I placed on the package.
That you put on that package?
Correct.
And what is contained within that package?
E1, the empty wallet.
the empty wallet. Judge, at this time, the state would ask to enter state exhibit number 107. Senator Defense for the objection.
No objections.
All right, State's Exhibit 107 and its contents, State.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe-
Are you entering 107 in the contents or just 107?
And contents, I apologize. Thank you, Judge.
No, and no objections, or do you have objections, defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, then 107 in contents is admitted without objection.
If you don't mind, can you just hold that up for the jury to see? And this is the, oops, sort of falling apart.
The leather.
But this is the item that you collected that was E1
Correct.
at this scene.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then let's go ahead and mark this next package as 108. And can you please observe that and tell me if you know what is it located in that package?
The cross pendant
And how do you know that that is in there?
of the label.
And did you label it?
Correct.
And can you go ahead and open it? Oh, gotta open that.
Go ahead and open it. Pull it out.
Okay, and you put it back in there. And is this the, I guess what you could classify it as a cross that you, or pendant that you found at the scene?
Correct.
Judge, the state offers 108 and its contents into evidence.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 108 is admitted without objection.
Can you just take that out and just hold it up to the jury? And then is this, that is the actual one that you found out the lot, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Now, while you're at this scene, you stated that somebody else assisted you,
Correct.
and that was Raul Hurtado.
Yes.
Did you do anything else at the, oh, well, you stated that you did some swabs. How many swabs did you do of that vehicle?
I did 6.
And is it your job to test them, or are you just collecting them?
No, I just collect.
Okay. And then also, did you try to find any latent prints on any objects at this scene? Or
At
from
the
this,
scene, no.
from this scene?
From the scene, correct.
Which items did you try to find latent prints?
From E2, the empty cigarette package. E3, the empty chocolate milk container, and E14, which was the empty beer can.
Were you able to develop any prints from those items?
I was not.
Thank you. Now, let's go to the 9th Street, I guess you call it the 9th Street secured facility.
Correct.
And at that location, you stated that you had actually finally gained access to this vehicle with the search warrant, and you collected items from this vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
And these items are listed in your report. Is that correct?
Correct.
And can you tell the jury One, did you do any swab collection at this location?
Yes, as I had already taken swabs from the exterior of the vehicle, at this point, I took swabs of the interior.
Okay. And I guess, let's, E1 through E5, are those swabs?
Yes,
And then what about other items that you collected from this vehicle, particularly going in, let's just go in order. E6, what is E6?
that was a live round.
And do you have the specification of what type of round that was?
Spear 380 auto,
And the location of that item?
in the interior front passenger side door panel.
And moving on to E7, what was that item and where was it located?
That was an unopened Lifestyles condom, and that was underneath the front passenger side seat.
And E8
That is another swab from the interior of the vehicle.
and E9
E9 was a spin brush toothbrush.
and E10.
An additional swab from the interior.
Well, I guess E10 through E15
Correct,
are the swabs from the interior.
correct.
And then what about E16
E16 is an additional toothbrush.
and E17
17 was a red straw.
and E18?
That was an empty Smith & Wesson black magazine.
And where was it located?
That was in the top console tray of the vehicle.
E19
19 was an empty Taurus black magazine, and that was at the bottom console tray of the vehicle.
and E20.
E20 is a blue iPhone, and that was in the glove box.
And E21
E21 was an empty Ruger black magazine in the glove box as well.
and E22.
An additional motorized toothbrush.
Show you what's been marked 88 through 103. If you can just take a look at those items, photos, and tell me if you recognize them.
Yes, I do.
And some of these photos have the items that you collected that day.
Correct.
And where were these photos taken?
At our 9th Street pound.
And or do they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to be the photos of this vehicle at that 9th Street location?
Correct.
Now, to be fair, you didn't take these photos.
I did not.
Who took the photos?
They were taken by CSI V Herado.
And were you present during the photo taking and collecting your evidence?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, statement off 103 intended to defense for any objections.
And Cindy.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state's exhibit numbers 88 through 103 are admitted without objection.
And Judge, may I publish to the jury?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry, no objection.
Showing, what's state exhibit number 88. Oh. Sorry, Judge, I'm just trying to get a little less glare on there. Let me. Better or worse? All right, we're just gonna go with it on that, Jeff. State exhibit number 88. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at here?
This is the vehicle MV1 that I processed.
And that license plate, is that the same license plate that was at the scene on San Pedro?
Correct.
Thank you. And I, by just viewing the photo, you can see that it looks like it's some type of a garage. Is that secured facility?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna show you what's been marked state exhibit number 89. What is this a picture of?
The interior of the vehicle.
And I would ask, what is this, this right here?
The center console.
So would this be the front seat of this vehicle?
Correct.
And so what seat would this be right here?
The driver's seat.
Okay, and this would be the passenger seat.
Correct.
Thank you. I'll show another picture, state exhibit number 90. And exhibit number 18, it looks like it's marked there. What is exhibit number 18?
18 is the empty Smith & Wesson black magazine from the top console tray.
Okay. A little bit brighter picture of state exhibit number 91. Is that same number I'm sorry, E18?
Correct.
Thank you. Now, I want to ask a question. These are magazines. What are these magazines for?
Firearm.
And some people don't know, I guess you say firearm. What do you load into these magazines?
Live rounds.
And then what do you do with the magazine after you load it?
The magazine is put into the firearm.
Okay. And then that's how you function a firearm to actually shoot it.
Correct.
Okay. Were any of these magazines that you found in the car, were any of them loaded?
No.
Okay. State exhibit number 92. What is this?
That is a second magazine. That's the Taurus magazine.
And again, is that center console?
Correct. The lower portion.
So you can open it up and it's inside of the console?
Correct. Once the top area was removed, you could see the second.
Okay. And so E18 was on top?
Correct.
And then E19 was inside?
Correct.
Okay. E16? What is that?
That is a toothbrush that was in the center storage compartment as well.
And so that center console area?
No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. That was the center storage compartment under the radio.
Okay, so like,
That was not the console with the cover, that was under the radio.
so like where you have the radio would be right below that,
Correct,
not in between the seats.
correct.
Okay. State exhibit number 94. Can you tell the jury what you're looking at here?
That is a view of inside the glove box. It looks to be 20, which is the cell phone, and E21, which is an additional empty Ruger black magazine.
And that maybe a better shot of that is state exhibit number 95. And that E20 is the blue cell phone, and E21 is the Ruger magazine.
Correct.
Thank you. And then state exhibit number 96. What are we looking at here?
E7 An unopened lifestyles condom
And where was that located at?
that was underneath the front passenger side seat.
Okay. And then we have state exhibit number 97. Looks a little blurry, but I think we can sort of make it out. What are you really focusing this photo on?
Is there an additional photo of that one with a number or?
Not,
I mean, it appears to be a spent shell casing or a live round rather.
what did you collect from the car?
The, I guess that would be E6. That would be the Spear 380 live round.
Okay. State exhibit number 98. What is the jury looking at here?
E9 is a toothbrush.
I'm sorry?
A toothbrush.
Okay. Well, I mean, let me ask this. What part of the car are we looking at?
The rear driver's side floorboard.
Okay. And there's other objects in there, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, I know that you marked E9, but there seems to be other objects down on the floorboard with these objects or with E9.
Correct.
But you did not collect those items, did you?
No.
Okay. State exhibit number 99. What does that appear to be there?
An additional view of the toothbrush.
And what seems to be next to it?
It looks to be toothpaste possibly.
Okay, thank you. State exhibit number 100. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at here?
It's an overall view of the back seats of the vehicle to show as many items as possible in one view of the evidence.
State exhibit number 101. What is that of?
That's of the interior trunk.
Interior of the trunk. And then state exhibit number 102.
That's marking E22, a toothbrush.
And that is also state exhibit number 103. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Now, I see that you brought some items that you collected at this scene. Hand you that. I'm gonna ask you to look at that and tell me.
Excuse me. Um, The jurors want a slight break, so if we can pause right now. I'm going to give you a break and I'll have you all back at 3:55. Is that enough time for everyone? All right, remember my previous instructions, all right? Everyone, please rise for the jurors.
Yeah.
All right, so let's bring the jurors back in.
What was that? What did that have to do?
Oh, I
You were about to
I was about to
enter,
open that
yeah.
stuff.
So you good with both?
Judge, did you go to LSU?
Yes.
I think the women are in the box.
No,
No.
we lost.
Uh-huh.
You'll notice I say we. I don't do that thing where, oh, they lost or they then. But you know what? My view is that anytime you make a form of a playoffs, you had a great season.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Four in the country? Yeah.
That.
Texas didn't even make the dance, so.
Ah, you know, I remember, I think back in the day, the
Right there.
Invitational was the big dance. And then
Oh.
they changed it and made this the big dance.
I like the competition rather
I
than
do too.
a bunch of folks picking.
Well, I tell you what, we're already losing the
this.
player. They have it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Let's put it.
Reality.
I want to see how it's gonna do.
This one's good.
Yes. I don't know how the Saints are gonna do. I don't know how the Cowboys are gonna do. Well, we do know how the.
So go.
Some things are just a comfort because they never try.
That's why I think that's why they wrote that song. Don't let your babies grow up to be Cowboys. People thought they were talking about Cowboys, but they were talking about the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, John and I are very excited about this upcoming Texas Longhorns year.
Welcome.
Got Archie.
I'm gonna see what happens.
Do.
Well, I tell you what, you talk to Cornelius Cox about Florida, because I'm sure every year he says, I'm so excited about the season, I can't even sleep, because we're gonna be bringing home the championship. So, yeah, so we will see what happens. But I'm always stunned. LSU, our draft is always awesome. But it doesn't translate to college. So you know who I think is responsible for that. I'm not gonna say it, but it's not the players.
Yeah.
Let's bring them in.
That's for
All
sure.
rise for the jury.
Everyone, please be seated and state it's still your direct. You may
Yes.
proceed.
Thank you. I think I was asking you to look at this envelope, which during the break, you had an opportunity to say that the envelope itself was not something that you made, the big envelope, but what was contained in there were the objects that you were aware of. Is that
Correct.
correct? Okay. Oh, wait, you got it. Okay. And that's the envelope. Oh, that's not in evidence. That's just the envelope that contained these two items.
Correct.
And let's go ahead and go in order here. Is that state exhibit number 109? Can you tell me, do you recognize that package?
Yes,
And what does that package contain?
the live round 380 auto.
And is this one of the live round 380 auto that you found in the vehicle that you searched?
Correct.
Can you please open that up, please? Does it contain the item that you specified to?
Correct.
Okay. Put it back in there. And Judge, at this time, the state offers state exhibit number 109 into evidence for any objections.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, state exhibit 109 is admitted without objection.
And can you just hold that up to the jury to show the jury what that looks like? Oh, maybe this, there you go. There you go. That is a live round 380 that is something that I guess you could put in a gun to fire.
Correct.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and go to state exhibit number 110. Is that 110?
Correct.
Okay. Do you recognize that envelope?
Yes, I do.
And what does it contain?
This is the lifestyles condom.
And can you please open that up and tell me if that's what it contains?
Yes,
And is this what you collected at the scene?
correct.
And Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer state exhibit number 110 into evidence. Will tender defense for any objections?
No objections.
State's Exhibit 110 is admitted without objection.
That's sort of what the picture we saw is the green. Is that green?
Yes,
Sorry, I'm colorblind. So, so the fact is that's what we saw in that picture that you took in the car. Is that correct?
I did not take the photos, but yes,
The photo that we have in evidence. Is that correct?
correct.
Thank you. Can you put that back in there? You, all right, and then let's go to state exhibit number 111. Please tell me if you recognize that packaging.
I do,
And is this packaging that you made and something that you collected at the scene?
correct.
And what is that object that you collected at the scene?
The empty Smith & Wesson magazine.
And can you please open that up and tell me if that's what that pertains? What it contains? And if this, oh, hold on, we didn't enter into evidence yet, so please keep it down. The state offers state exhibit number 111 into evidence, Your Honor, with its contents.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 111 is admitted without objection.
Hold that up, please. Thank you. Okay, put it back. We're going to go to state exhibit number 112, same name. Is it something that you recognize as a packaging
Correct.
and the contents of that packaging
This is an empty Taurus magazine.
and something that you collected at the scene?
Yes,
Could you please go ahead and open that up? Is that what you collected at the scene? Yes, Your Honor, the state offers state exhibit number 112 into evidence. It's a tentative defense for any objection.
No objections.
State's Exhibit 112 is admitted without objection.
Thank you. Just hold that up, please. Put that back in. And let's go ahead and state exhibit number 113.
I'm sorry, what number is that?
113. And do you recognize that packaging?
yes,
And is it something that you collected at the scene?
yes.
And what was that item?
A blue iPhone.
Can you please open that up and tell me if that's the object that you collected?
Yes.
And that's the blue iPhone that you collected from the glove box, is that
Yes,
correct?
it is.
Okay. State would offer state exhibit number 113 into evidence, Your Honor.
No new objections, Your Honor.
Then that will be admitted.
And if you can take that out of the bag and hold it up and back and forth. Thank you. State exhibit number 114, that tell me if it's packaging that you made,
It is.
and is what is it identified in there?
The empty Ruger black magazine.
And can you please open that up and tell me if it contains that?
It does.
And the state would offer state exhibit number 114, Your Honor, into evidence, tender defense, any objection?
No objections.
Thank you.
All right, State's Exhibit number 114 is admitted without objection.
Go ahead, hold that up. Thank you. Put that. Great. And collecting of these items were done by you.
Correct.
What about, were there any anything, did anybody try to lift fingerprints from any of these items?
CSI v. Herado.
And which items did he try to lift prints from?
I would have
I'm
to
going to object to
refresh my
hearsay and
memory.
confrontation.
All right. I'm sorry, your question and your answer. What was your answer? Did you have to review something?
I have on here that he did
No. I believe you said your answer was you'd had to
I
review
guess I'd have to
something.
refresh my memory.
All right. So let her refresh her memory and then ask your question, and then I'll hear your objection.
And so you need to refresh your memory on your report?
No, to clarify, I have in my report that he did a
Objection,
latent print
hearsay,
search.
Confrontation.
So, you can't say certain things.
Okay.
So have you refreshed your memory to the state's question?
No,
All right, so if you'll refresh your memory and then state if you'll ask your question, and then I'll hear your objection, then I'll make a ruling.
Thank you, Judge. Okay. You can reference if you need to remind yourself of what you wrote in your report, but please don't read directly from it.
no,
Oh, hold on. I'm just gonna ask a question and then you can see if you can answer it. Do you know the items that CSI V Hurtado lifted prints from or tried to lift prints from?
not without seeing his report.
Okay. And did you reference his report during the time that y'all worked together? Let me rephrase. Did you ever review his report?
Yes, I have.
And was he the individual that was at the 9th Street secure location with you?
Yes, he was.
Thank you. And so I would ask you, if you had that report, would it be able to refresh your memory with the items that he tried to lift latent prints from?
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, I would like to approach and show her the report of CSI v. Hurtado.
And Your Honor, we would urge our objection here saying confrontation. This is information that the witness has no personal knowledge of. It's hearsay from Hurtado.
All right, so state, are you asking to approach her to refresh her recollection with a report?
Yeah, because, Your Honor, if I may, she mentioned earlier that she references in her report to reference V. Hurtado's report. Hence, she would know what his report contained because she's saying to reference it from her report. So she would have viewed his report and known the items that he actually
All right, could
tried to
parties
lift.
approach?
Yes. CSI Bustamante, one, I know this is 7 years ago. Do you remember watching V Hurtado trying to lift prints from items that were found in the car that were collected by you?
I can't say that I remember directly watching. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but that was the task I gave him, was to print. So I know he printed items.
But you're aware that he did try to take fingerprints from objects in this vehicle.
Your Honor,
Correct.
We're gonna renew our objection, hearsay confrontation.
Your Honor, I don't think that's an appropriate objection at this time.
With regards to that objection will be overruled now that foundation is there. So that objection will be overruled as to what duties she gave him.
As to the duties she gave him, that's not what my objection is to. Just to be clear. Her answer, well, I'm sorry, the follow-up question was, did he do it? Which would imply that a communication back to her was received, which would be the hearsay. So, I mean, what she can certainly testify what she told people to do.
All right, so
Directed them.
with regards to defense's objection, if she is testifying to actions that she did not observe, the defense's objection will be sustained.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
I'm asking you, one, in your report, just referencing your report, not anybody else's report, is there anything in your report that will help you refresh your memory that V Hurtado attempted to complete latent print search?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to that question and answer on the basis that that's not the predicate for recollection refresh. She has a report and he can ask her to review her report. And if it recalls her recollection to something, she can certainly say yes or no. But the prosecutor has sort of given us
So
enough
what is your legal objection?
that given past recollection refreshed, the predicate for that has not been laid. And what we're doing is we're just backdooring hearsay confrontation.
All right, so your objection is hearsay?
And confrontation and lack of foundation for any other path to admissibility.
All right, with regards to your objection to hearsay, that will be sustained.
And I guess, I think she did answer, but it was hard to hear. I'd ask that the jury disregard the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, you disregard the last answer.
Well, do you know if anybody did a latent print search of the vehicle?
Objection, Your Honor.
That objection is overruled.
May I make a clarification?
I'm so sorry. You just have to
You can answer the
answer the
question.
questions that are asked.
Yes, someone did make a latent print search.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Mr. Bustamante. How are you?
Good, thank you.
I know it's been a hectic day for you. I'll try to be brief. You processed essentially two different things in the course of your work on this case, right? The exterior of that vehicle in the parking lot and then the car in the garage.
Two separate locations, yes, same item.
So real quick about the environment around where the car was originally found. It's a bush area. There's some grass and it's in a parking lot in a commercial district of town, right?
Yes,
And all kinds of trash can be found in any kind of scene like that in any given moment in San Antonio. Fair to say?
yes,
And you were explaining a little bit about how it's difficult to parse what might be relevant and what's not. You try to be overly inclusive, correct?
yes,
So for example, there was an SD card that was found at the scene. I believe the officer that called in off of the Volo that got you dispatched there found that, correct?
I believe so.
But I mean, you don't know whether that SD card has any connection to the car or to the crime you're investigating or anything else. It just was found in that parking lot, right?
Yes,
Okay. Same with the rosary pendant, same with the sunglasses, same with the wallet. Everything you found there, you don't really have any frame of reference. It just was there as refuse in a parking lot.
if I may, it's in how can I say this? It's close to the vehicle. That's the difference.
I understand. And so I guess that's what I'm trying to better process. Do you all have, through either training at the academy or written operating procedures, sort of a standard perimeter that you draw for how far to look around the vehicle before it's increasingly unlikely that it's connected to anything?
There's not an exact perimeter that we have. I believe crime scene tapes would have been up. You're going to at least include that part, and then you might expand a little bit further than that. But in my search of the parking lot, I did not find anything aside from what was around the vehicle. Like I said, you can expect that you would have trash and different things in parking lots. But in this one, the items that were located were all in close proximity to that vehicle
Okay.
or to those vehicles.
But there were items of trash that you didn't collect within that radius, right?
If I would have seen something that looked like evidence, which would have included possible other trash, I would have collected it. So I say no.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, if the reporter could advise, I think we're on defendants 5, is that correct? I think they're slightly different. I can't put that. They're different file numbers.
Okay. Seems repetitive, but.
Sure, we'll go with 5. How about that? Mr. Monte, I'm going to show you what I've marked for identification as defendants 5. Do you recognize that photograph?
I do.
And what is that?
It is the front windshield of the vehicle.
And does that fairly inaccurately depict the vehicle as you saw it at the Groden Pound secured garage?
This was at the 9th Street Pound. I did not go to the Grouden, but yes, at 9th Street, it was like this.
Sorry, the 9th Street. Okay, thank you. At this time, Your Honor, we move to admit defendants 5 pending objections.
No objections, John.
All right, I'm sorry, defense exhibit number 5 is admitted without objection.
May I publish the jury?
Yes.
So when you looked at the vehicle itself, the windshield was severely damaged, right?
Yes,
And it's broken all the way from the wiper blades all the way to the top of the window, correct?
correct.
Okay. Did you find any, did anyone dust for latent fingerprints on the exterior doors?
Let me refresh my memory on.
That would that have been your responsibility?
I don't believe so. If I remember correctly, I had tasked that to Raul, or Herado.
Okay. Well, if you didn't do it, then we'll sort of leave it alone.
Correct. I did the evidence that I had, but as far as the vehicle, I tasked that to a second CSI.
Would that function, dusting for fingerprints of the exterior of the vehicle, have been done at the location where it was found abandoned, or would it have been done at the impound?
It could have been done at either.
Okay. Do you know if it was done at the location or at the impound?
I do,
When did you direct it to be done?
at the location.
At the location. Okay. And you indicated that you swabbed the front hood of the car for biological evidence, correct? Which would not include fingerprints. You'd be looking for DNA.
Correct.
Okay. When you looked at the interior of the car at the impound, did you look for any signs of biological evidence on the seats or on the windows interior or anything like that?
I did look for biological material on the interior.
Okay, let's describe the protocol for that. What do you do to look for biological material on the interior?
Well, you're not able to actually see it, so we swab the areas that would most likely have been touched by individuals inside the vehicle.
Okay, but now there are, bioluminescent reactive agents you could spray on the surfaces to see if there's some kind of biological material, right? Like luminol.
Correct. Based on the knowledge that I had, the person was shot outside of the vehicle, so it did not warrant a search inside of the vehicle using luminol.
Okay, so you were not aware at the time of your investigation that there had been a struggle of some significance inside of the vehicle leading up to the events on the exterior of the vehicle?
I don't believe I had, we don't always have all of the information. I don't believe I knew that part.
Okay, and that's a point of interest I want to talk about a little bit more. How, like, this is a crime scene that spans over a mile radius, right? From the Chick-fil-A parking lot where it's alleged to have happened to where you find this vehicle. That's a, I mean, it's not a huge search radius, but that's a decent search radius, right?
Yes,
And clearly in this case, we have different teams of police officers responding to different locations of interest in the case, right?
I cannot speak to that. I would assume so. I don't know what they're,
You weren't at the Chick-fil-A parking lot on the 23rd of April in 2017, were you?
I was not.
Okay. A whole different team of people were involved in that, right?
Police officers, yes.
Right. A whole different team of police for that day were out there responding to the scene and processing evidence, correct?
Police officers, yes. I'm the crime scene investigator. We don't have the same duties.
Okay. There were crime scene investigators out at the Chick-fil-A parking lot too, if you know.
There would have been, yes.
Okay. So in a situation like that where there are different crime scenes or potential crime scenes and different policemen and different crime scene investigators at different times, different days have to collect evidence and coordinate with each other. Back in 2017, what was your department's method of making sure that all of those independent locations and all the evidence and the work done at those independent locations gets linked up? How did the department do that?
I don't have any knowledge of how they do that. I just know my part to collect where I am at.
Okay, so Detective Juarez is the lead detective on this case. Are you aware of that?
I refreshed my memory with my report, yes, as
Okay.
far as that.
And did Detective Juarez tell you to come out to process this scene?
Earlier, I'm object to hearsay.
Sustained.
Okay. Were you dispatched by someone just in the ordinary chain of events like you would be dispatched if someone called 911 today at the courthouse? Or were you dispatched by a specific officer?
Objection hearsay.
I'm not asking for the content of the statement or,
That'll be overruled.
thank you. Yes, sir, ma'am.
It was just dispatch. It wasn't anyone in particular.
Okay. When you are dispatched in a call generally, and in the role of being a crime scene investigator, is part of your responsibility to familiarize yourself with what other investigators and detectives have been doing on that same case number?
No.
Okay. So you're going out and you're just collecting things.
I'm speaking to the officer who can give me relevant information they may have at that time. And that is all I have to rely on. In this case, it was a completely different day.
Okay, understood. And that officer in this case would have been not Detective Juarez,
Correct.
would have been the officer that arrived, Josh, forgive me.
Albert.
Albert?
Correct.
Okay. And Officer Halbert's a patrolman, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, we were talking about the interior biological. So you were swabbing areas sort of blind, is that fair to say? Like you were swabbing areas that you thought might have biological material on them?
Based on training and experience, I would swab in certain areas. I wouldn't call it blind. And swabbing for that type of biological evidence, blood would be a different type of evidence. That's usually something you can see visually.
Okay. Although blood particles, blood spatter, if you will, could be very, very small or very, very big, depending on the injury that caused the bleeding, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so you're picking areas that are most likely to have biological based on your training and experience.
Correct.
Okay. And that would be important in a homicide case because it might tell you whether there was a struggle, whether other people were injured besides the deceased. All those things would be valuable to know, right?
Objection, speculation.
If you know.
If you know, you can answer.
Can you repeat?
it would be important to see if there's biological evidence, especially blood spatter, on the interior of a vehicle in a homicide case, so that you could tell whether there's one injured person or multiple injured people, right?
I would not be able to tell that from that, no.
But somebody hopefully would be able to tell that based upon your work, right? That's why you're doing this kind of work.
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
I'll withdraw the question. Are you trained, are you trained in firearms use at all, ma'am?
Firearm use, no.
Okay. Are you familiar with firearms at all?
Yes,
You collected 3 different gun magazines from this vehicle, correct?
correct.
One was a Taurus,
Yes.
one was a Ruger,
Yes,
and one was a Smith & Wesson, right?
correct,
And those are all different gun manufacturers, correct?
correct.
Do you know the calibers of the pistols that each of those magazines belongs to?
Offhand or no?
Okay, would you be able to tell from looking at the magazines if we looked at the exhibits?
I'm not sure. I did not take the photographs myself, so I don't know what that view would allow me to see.
I'm just saying if we actually if we looked at those magazines again, the real magazines, would you be able to tell what calibers they go to?
Possibly.
Possibly? Okay, may I approach you?
Yes.
And the magazines are.
They're right.
Okay. So let's start with states 114. This is the Ruger Black magazine. I could have you remove that from its envelope.
Yes, it does have identifiable information.
And what caliber does that go to?
A 380.
A 380. And you recovered a 380 live round from the crime scene, correct?
From inside the vehicle, correct.
Okay, from inside the vehicle. Then let's next look at states 112, which is I believe the Taurus.
Put on my glasses.
You're fine.
This is a 380 as well.
Okay. And then this is states 111, which is the Smith & Wesson.
Sorry, the lighting isn't the best in here. Yes, it says 9mm.
A 9mm.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, 380 and 9mm, those are just 2 different calibers of guns, right?
Correct.
And a 380 bullet and a 9mm bullet wouldn't fire out of the same gun, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And as to the 2 380s, are those, I mean, if you know, interchangeable in the same, like, if I had a Taurus pistol, but I also happen to just have a Ruger magazine, both 380 calibers, can I plug that Ruger magazine into my Taurus 380, or do you know?
That's not in the scope of my usual job duties, so I'm not familiar with.
Fair enough. When you noted these particular items of evidence, the magazines, you gave them a unique barcode, correct?
Correct.
And you described them, right?
Correct.
And do you have that property report up there with you?
The official property report, no. How I listed them in my report, I do.
Okay, in your report, when you list them, Do you notate anything about them other than just simply their manufacturer? Other than just their manufacturer?
I did notate that they were empty
Okay.
in the location of where they were.
Did you write down any identifying numbers that may have been associated with those with those magazines?
And this report, no,
Okay. Would it have been notated elsewhere?
no.
Okay. The manufacturer generally does label the magazine with a serial number like they would label a gun with a serial number, right?
Not always, I
Okay.
don't believe.
Okay. Are there features of some magazines that might allow for law enforcement to follow up and try and figure out where it was manufactured and where it was sold and those kinds of things?
That's outside of the scope of my duties. I can't speak to that.
But they don't encourage you to notate those types of markings or identifiers when you process this information?
If there's unique identifiers such as serial numbers and things like that, I usually notate that in my report.
Okay, but your report doesn't notate whether they're 9mm or 380 auto, right?
No, in this, it does not.
Okay. Now, on the 380 auto live round that you recovered, did you or did anyone at your direction, or I guess, did you or did you direct anyone else to dust that 380 auto live round for fingerprints?
I had asked CSIB Hurtado to complete or conduct the latent print search of the interior. So that would include the vehicle and any and all items within the vehicle that could be printed to include the evidence.
So that'd be a question for Mr. Hurtado as to whether he did or didn't and what it found.
Correct.
Okay. What about the magazines? Same answer?
Correct. But if it's a printable surface, we work together and I mean, those are just items we always print.
It would be
It would be a
common
safe-
sense to print a magazine, right?
I cannot say for certain if he did, but knowing how we work together and how we're trained, I would be very surprised if he didn't.
And the live round.
Correct.
The condom that you found, was that in the back seat or in the front seat?
It was underneath the front passenger side seat.
Underneath. Was it closer to the back of the seat or closer to the front of the seat?
I would have to see a photo.
Okay. Showing you again, page 96. That jogs your memory about exactly where it is. I just couldn't tell.
Yes, this is the like the door frame, the door jamb. And
Okay.
it appears that this is the back of the seat. So it would be right down by the levers.
Okay, so it's
It's near the center column where the seat belt probably is attached.
okay, understood. So this portion here is the barrier between the outside and the inside if you've opened the door, right?
Yes,
And this is the seat, this would be the lever here to adjust like the angle of the seat and so forth.
I would assume so.
And so the condom is sort of situated at the back of that front seat.
Correct.
Okay. Can I see my exhibit?
Farther out.
That's perfect right there. And that's the smash window you observed, right?
Correct.
Okay. And just below the frame of this photograph, there were footprints on the hood, correct?
I do not recall.
I'm sorry. I asked you about the hood. Did you also note footprints on the sides of the windshield around the broken areas?
I don't recall reading in my report that I did, in refreshing my memory. Had there been footprints or shoe prints, they would have been processed by myself, and I did not do that. So I did not see any shoe prints or footprints.
And I asked you about fingerprinting. Did I ask you about touch DNA with respect to the 380 auto live round that you recovered?
In what respect?
Did you do a swab of the 380 auto live round for touch DNA?
I did not directly, but that is an item that would be sent to the lab for DNA processing.
Okay, and the way that you handled the 380 auto for your purposes, would that have had any effect on later attempts to lift touch DNA?
No,
I mean, I guess my question would be, when we talk about touch DNA, we're talking about dead skin cells and oils of the hand on the object you want to test for, right?
correct.
And when you do fingerprinting, you are putting powder on the object you want to test for, and then you're brushing it away with a brush, right?
Correct.
So there's no risk that if you fingerprint first, you will be brushing away the dead skin cells that you later would want to try and find with touch DNA?
I can't say that there is no risk, but we have a process in order for obtaining prints and further DNA. And we are advised to print first because DNA can still be obtained even with powder on the item, not the reverse.
Even though there is a risk.
Yes, there would always be some kind of risk.
Okay. You noted several different items in your examination of the scene where the car was found, and we have seen photographs where you have placed little evidence tags next to them, right, and taken the pictures numbered chronologically 1, 2, 3,
Correct.
etc. And so, for example, your E2 is an empty packet of cigarettes, I believe,
Yes, it is.
and your E3 is the empty milk carton.
Correct.
So your E2 and your E3 may not be the same thing as the E2 and E3 of the other evidence technicians at other scenes in the process, right?
Correct.
As far as the photographs that were taken at the secure location, are all of the photographs that you took, or are they Hurtado's photographs, or a mixture of both?
I did not take photographs at that location. They would all be Victor Hurtado's.
Okay, great. But you took the photographs at the crime scene?
At the initial recovery scene, yes, I did.
Okay. Pardon me, one moment, Your Honor. I don't know. How much is Zoom giving? Not Zoom.
No, Jerry touched it. I'm guilty.
It was evidence that returned to.
But I was just wondering if you by chance.
I don't have it printed out. I have that.
I'll pass the witness.
State.
Yes, would have been common sense to print the phone.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Nothing for the defense.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Please from the state.
We'd ask her to be placed on recall. But if this is get her contact information, we'll notify her if we need it.
All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone. If you're needed to be recalled, just make sure that you're available. And you're not to discuss in this case with anyone for as long as this trial lasts. You understand?
Yes.
And just 1 second, could I have parties approach? All right, so both parties have agreed that if they do need you back, that you can appear by Zoom.
Oh, okay.
All right, so if you'll just make sure the court reporter has the items that have been admitted into evidence, please. And remove your court reporter mic. Okay. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll just talk at the end. Yeah, sorry.
All right, state, call your next witness.
State calls Raul Herado.
All right, if you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth to help you out?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. If you'll state your name for the record, spell your last name, and make sure you keep your voice up so that members of the jury can hear.
Yes, my name is Raul Hurtado, and you spell it Hurtado.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hurtado, one, are you currently employed with the city of San Antonio as a CSI investigator?
No, sir, I'm not.
Did you just currently leave that position?
Yes, in March.
And previously, were you a CSI investigator or CS investigator for the city of San Antonio?
Yes, sir, 15 and a half years.
And back in 2017, were you a CSI investigator?
I was.
And I'm assuming you had to go through certain training and everything for that position?
Yes, sir, around 3.5 months, over 300 hours of forensic training.
Okay, and so quite a long time, a bit of training. So, but let me go ahead and ask you about April 28th, 2017, were you dispatched to a scene at 7243 San Pedro?
I was requested by my Sergeant James Estrada to meet CSI Allison Bustamante there. And he explained to me, gave me details saying that there was a recovered stolen vehicle there that was involved in a murder. So he wanted me to go and help her out.
And so, and actually you just saw her today, is that correct?
That's correct, sir, yes.
And then did you make that location?
I did, sir.
And when you arrived at that location, did you have certain duties that you had to perform?
After she gave me details of the incident and she basically told me it was a recovered stolen vehicle involved, possibly involved in a murder. She had items of evidentiary value marked with evidence markers, and she asked me if I would print the search the vehicle for latent prints.
It's just been marked state exhibit number 106. One, do you recognize that envelope?
Yes, this is my writing, and this is the envelope, the latent print envelope that I turned in with the cards.
And do you recall how many cards are in that envelope?
I had to put some of the cards together, but there should be 14 individual cards.
And do you mind going ahead and taking those out and looking at those? Please don't show them.
No, sir, not at
Just
all.
lay them out here. Now, I'd like you to briefly tell the jury, when you're looking for latent prints, what process do you go to? What do you have to do?
I know in this individual case, Allison CSI Bustamante had markers on the vehicle. So I kind of did a visual search and I looked for areas within the vehicle that I thought that might have possible latent prints. Those are the areas that I searched, and they were all exterior of the vehicle.
And what about the actual process? What do you have to do to lift these prints from?
Basically, it's a carbonite. It's a black carbonite, and just with a regular brush, and kind of visualize, look for areas, and then just dip the brush in the latent print powder, and then it's a finesse to it, and you try to develop some type of latent prints.
And do you have certain training to be able to do this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And would you have to have a certain amount of training to be able to perform this duty?
That was all within the 300 hours or so, the 3.5 months that I went through the training, and then just basically on the job training, just searching for latent prints, even just burglary vehicles or whatever for years prior to this.
So this is not the first time nor the last time at 2017 that you tried to lift latent prints.
It might have been thousands of times.
Okay. Well, let's talk about these cards. And I'm going to ask you if you can look at each card, and we'll start with this one right here. Tell me, where did you lift this print from?
Okay, well, as you can see on the print card, I
You
try
can
to put some. Yeah, as you can see on the print card, I try to visualize, put just a little bit, cartoon thing, and I put an X on the front driver's window glass areas.
Okay, and then let's go ahead and go to this. Looks like this one was taped together.
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the jury where you lifted these prints from?
Yeah, these came off the passenger side hood area of the exterior of the vehicle.
And
yes.
You know where at on the hood?
It's going to be on the passenger side up to the front of the vehicle. I did a little indication of the hood itself. So it's off on the passenger side to the very front of the vehicle, or the front of the hood.
Okay. And then can you go to this card right here?
Yeah, this is passenger side front driver window. And it's towards the top of the top of the glass.
Okay, thank you. And then let's go to this card here.
Okay, this one was from the passenger side front door window. And basically, it's the same area. It was towards the top of this one's toward the middle, and this was towards the top of the glass area.
And you're pointing out on here that you have an indication, like a triangle of where the X is where you lifted the print.
That's correct.
And
Correct.
it's not to scale, it's just
No, it's not to scale,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. And then on to this right here.
And this one, this is from the driver's rear window door. It's from the side, so it's driver's side, rear door.
Okay, thank you. Move on to the next one.
And then this one is just one look like it's from the rear, the rear. Yeah, the rear driver's side window. It looked like it wasn't on the glass itself. It was looked like it was on the frame of
Okay,
it.
thank you. And on to the next one.
This one says driver's side front door window.
Okay.
Windshield passenger side.
Okay, thank you.
So it's towards the middle of that. And this wouldn't be the same thing, the windshield passenger side.
Okay.
And this one is driver's side, next to rear door window. So it's driver's side. Here's the, okay, here's the drivers, and here's, I mean, this is driver's side, this is the front, and this is rear, and it was on the frame of the vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Now on, when you take these prints, what do you put them in this envelope and what do you do with them?
Basically, they get logged in. They get logged into a software called File and Queue.
Mhm.
And once they're logged in, then we turn them into a Dropbox there at the central substation at it's 315 South Frio. And once we put them there, then the ID services, they'll come and they'll pick them up.
And so are you in charge of trying to match any prints if they're legible to other, like people's prints?
No, sir, that would be ID services.
And so that's not your, not one of your duties.
No, sir,
So you would be able to testify if these fingerprints match to anybody.
absolutely not, sir.
Okay. Now, did you perform any other duties or assigned any other duties at the location at 7243 San Pedro?
No, sir, that was my only duty, and that's what I concentrated on. CSI Bustamante had the majority of the evidence, and then whatever investigative part there at the scene.
Okay. Let me go ahead and fast forward to February 1st, 2025. I'm sorry, let's go to January 2nd, 2025.
Yes, sir.
Were you, for one, did you ever see this vehicle that you took prints from again?
Well, at the initial recovered stolen, yeah, that's when I saw it. You requested, and Sergeant Raul Waters requested. me to
Objection,
go down.
hearsay, confrontation.
All right, with regards to hearsay, that objection will be sustained.
Let me ask you, did you ever go to Ground and Pound to view this vehicle again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, we approach.
Yes.
What? For example, last night.
I don't know what he did in 2025. I believe that under Heath and Watkins, that this is untimely produced discovery. This is a very old case, which we've been preparing
The
for trial
court
for.
doesn't know if it's untimely produced or not. The state has stated that it has been uploaded on e-discovery. The state has stated that they downloaded it on a external hard drive.
Not
Your Honor,
this,
it was uploaded in late January or early February.
before,
This trial is now in March of 2025. In the grand scheme, I think that we can say it is untimely produced, that this is an 11th hour production. There are a great many moving parts to a trial of this severity. That's untimely produced. Similarly, I
The
can't tell
court is
you,
finding that it is not untimely produced.
I can't
because-
even tell you what the materials that will be elicited from this witness are. So additionally, I would object that it violates my client's right to effective assistance of counsel under the Sixth Amendment, because I don't know what he's about to testify to, and I can't effectively cross-examine what I don't know he's going to testify to. So
Right.
I believe that there's a concern that proceeding forward under this will make me ineffective.
All right, the objection is overruled. Bringing
And
the jury.
Your Honor, when we just make sure that there's a chronology, I'm confused. Are they saying that his report should have been on the hard drive?
It should, yes.
Okay. I thought that this occurred after
The
that.
report from January 2nd, 2025 should be on the hard drive.
Right, but isn't this something he did in February?
There are
No,
two
there's two.
things
Right.
he did.
He went back in
Right,
January.
in February.
Yes,
And that won't be on that.
because the last time you gave us the hard drive was when?
Well, it
In
depends on
January.
which hard drive, because we have data related
No,
to.
but the last one was January.
Well, no, but there's also the February production of Mr.
All right, you
McIntyre's.
can bring the jurors in.
All rise for the jury.
Okay, it's not on the clock.
Please be seated. State, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I believe I was asking you about a January 2nd, 2025 report that you made associated with this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And at that time, did you have an opportunity to inspect the vehicle associated with this case?
When I went out there, nothing was done. I wasn't conducting an investigation. I went out there because I was requested to go out there to photograph some items that were found and to collect them. So basically, I took chain of custody of these items.
Okay. And show you what's been marked state exhibit number 115. Do you recognize that photo?
I do, sir.
And is that a photo you took at the, I guess, the pound or the ground pound?
Yes, sir.
And is that for, well, near or on the vehicle that is associated with this case?
It was within the documents of a folder.
And Your Honor, the state would offer state exhibit number 115 and the evidence.
Same objections we just made a moment ago, Your Honor, 3914 Sixth Amendment.
All right, objection is overruled. State's exhibit 115 is admitted.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Now, is this a letter that you obtained in the ground and pound that day?
Yes, sir.
That was associated with that vehicle that's associated with this case. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
Your Honor, at this time we'll pass the witness.
Defense?
Did you review the contents of States 115? Sir,
Yes, yes, sir.
what was it? A letter?
It was the actual envelope.
I'm asking, within the envelope of that's displayed in 115, did you review the content?
No, sir.
I want to go back to 2017. In your report, you noted that no latent prints were found, correct?
That's correct, sir.
So the cards that you were just shown, that you were just talking about with Mr. Garahan, those aren't latent prints?
Sir, let me clarify. So I'm not the expert when it comes to latent print. So what I collected possibly could have been something. So that's why I collected in the first place. And by submitting the cards to ID services, they're the ones that are going to make the determination. They have the microscopes, they have all the technology to figure if it's an actual latent print or not.
So but you noted latent prints found no.
From what I physically see, I didn't develop anything that looked like a latent print to me.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So you can authenticate that you laid the dust down and took those samples off the card.
That's correct, sir.
But none of it looks like a print to you.
I physically didn't see anything.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
Any further questions?
No further questions for this witness at this time, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excused by the state, Your Honor.
Subject to recall.
All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone during the pendency of this trial. If you'll remove the mic and just make sure you're available for recall if you're needed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, could I have parties approach? All right, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
All right, can you lower your hand, state your name for record, and please spell your last name and keep your voice up so that the jurors may hear.
Jasmine Rios Cruz, Rios Cruz.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Miss Cruz, how old are you currently?
I am 29.
And do you currently live in San Antonio, Texas?
I do.
How long have you lived in San Antonio, Texas?
Approximately 20 years.
And where did you live before that?
Washington, D.C.
Okay. And did you attend high school in San Antonio, Texas?
I did.
What high school was that?
Winston Churchill High School.
Okay. And are you currently employed?
I'm a full-time student.
Okay. Now I want to turn your attention back to April 23rd of 2017. Do you recall who you were with that day?
Yes, I was with my younger sister,
And what is her name?
Vanessa Rios Cruz.
And do you recall how old you were at the time?
I was in my early 20s. So
Okay. Shortly after that day, the 23rd of April 2017, do you recall making a written statement?
yes, I don't remember the exact time after.
Okay, but you met with a detective, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you provided a written statement?
Yes.
Marked for identification purposes.
Okay.
State exhibit number 116. Can you take a look at that?
Okay.
And do you recognize that document?
I do.
And does that document contain your signature?
It does.
Okay, and you've previously reviewed this statement before, correct?
Correct.
And is that a true and accurate copy of the statement that you provided?
Yes.
Okay, would it help you to refresh your memory if you needed to at any point?
Yes.
Okay, and so you're able to refresh your memory, but please don't read from the document.
Okay.
Okay. And so you stated that you were in your early 20s on
Yes.
that day? All right. And do you recall what age your sister was?
We have a we have like about a 9-year difference, 9 to 10 year difference. So she would have been
A preteen? Is that fair to
preteen,
say?
yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Do you recall what y'all were doing that day?
Yes, we were attempting to get a massage.
Okay. And where was the massage parlor located?
It was off of San Pedro.
And when you arrived to the massage parlor, were you able to find parking?
Not for the particular massage place. I was able to find parking at a restaurant adjacent to the massage place.
Okay. And these locations that we're talking about, are they located in Bexar County, Texas?
Yes.
Okay. And so you stated you parked in a restaurant parking lot, correct?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall what kind of car you were driving?
Yes. 2015 Toyota Corolla.
All right. And did that car belong to you at the time?
Yes.
Okay. And who was driving the car that day?
I was driving.
All right. And when you parked in the parking lot of the restaurant, did you, in the parking lot immediately to, or excuse me, the parking space immediately to the right of you, was it occupied or not?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to leading.
All right, that will be sustained.
Okay.
Move to instruct the jury to disregard the question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you disregard the question, the last question and the answer.
All right. Where did you park in the parking lot?
The restaurant has a drive-through and I parked behind the drive-through. So I would say it's behind the restaurant.
All right. Was there anything next to your car when you parked?
I believe there was 1 or 2 cars also alongside, but not directly beside my car.
Okay. And so when you parked, then what did you do? Did you get off of your car? What did you do?
Yes, we went to look for the massage offices. It's like a duplex of some sort, so we had to find, we walked across some grass to find the massage place.
Okay. And were you able to get a massage at that time?
No, we were instructed to come back.
Okay. And so what did you do after leaving the massage parlor?
We started heading back to the vehicle.
Okay. And did you notice anything when you were walking back to your vehicle?
Yes, I noticed a car had parked itself next to our vehicle, my vehicle, that my sister was in with me. And they, kind of like a group of people or a boy, two boys started approaching us from that vehicle.
Okay. Just regarding the vehicle that parked next to your vehicle, was there anything significant that stood out about the vehicle to you?
Yes, the first thing that stood out was the boys. And once I approached closer to the vehicle, I noticed there was a busted windshield.
Okay. And so I want to talk to you about the first boy. Do you remember the first boy?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show you what's been entered into evidence already. And that is as State's Exhibit number 64. Okay. Just give me a second. All right. I'm playing State's Exhibit number 64 for the record.
There's kind of a glare, I'm sorry.
Oh, do you need to step down or are you able to see it?
This is perfect.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to pause the State's Exhibit really quickly. Do you observe your motor vehicle on the exhibit displayed on the screen?
Yes, it'll be the furthest to the left.
Okay, is right where my mouse is hovering?
Correct.
Okay. And do you observe, or did you observe on that day a male at the location when you were walking back to your car?
Objection, lady.
That would be sustained.
Did
Move
you
to instruct the
observe-
jury to Disregard the question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you disregard that last question.
Did you observe anyone when you were walking back to your car?
I did. The boy in the white.
Where my mouse is hovering?
Correct.
Okay. And did that person catch your attention?
Yes, he was walking towards me and my sister.
Okay. Were you able to see where he exited the motor vehicle from?
Yes, the front passenger.
Okay. And what color of a t-shirt was he wearing?
White.
Okay. And as far as his appearance, what did his appearance look like?
He looked like a very young boy, fair dark skin or light dark skin,
Okay. What was his race, if you recall?
black.
Okay. And can you describe like his build?
He just looked like a young boy,
Okay.
just
he-
really skinny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he say anything to you when he approached you?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
Objection, hearsay, confrontation.
Statement against interest, statements against party opponent, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Could I have parties
please
approach? Well, no, that's going to be overruled. You all make legal objections and I make a ruling on them.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna play the state's exhibit for the record. Now, did you notice a second person exit that vehicle?
I noticed a second person.
Okay, and what did that person look like?
He was taller, a little bit darker, and a little heavier or heavier build.
Okay, and where did that person exit the vehicle?
I only recall seeing that person behind the person in the white, so on the right side.
Okay, can you please? I'm gonna approach your honor. Look at your
Your Honor, objection to foundation. There's no question the witness is being shown their report, I believe, or their statement.
Well, it's already been identified for her to refresh her memory, and so I'm asking her if she would
That's
please
what this is.
refer to her statement, State's Exhibit number 116 for identification purposes, and refresh her memory as to where she saw the second person exit the motor vehicle.
All right, if parties could approach.
Speaking objection.
Response to his objections. Okay, so regarding the other male that gained your attention, where did you state that you saw him exit the motor vehicle?
I stated that he had came out from the back.
I'm going to object. The witness looked at the report. What the prosecutor did not do as the court requested and asked that predicate.
No. Here's the thing. When you all approach, we have conversations here at the bench, and there's a reason why we have conversations at the bench and not in public. So with regards to your objection, what is your legal objection, counsel?
Lack of foundation.
All right, with regards to lack of foundation, that's going to be overruled. Is there another objection?
Hearsay, asked and answered.
Overruled. All right, you may proceed.
Where did the second male that gained your attention, if you recall, where did you see him exit the motor vehicle?
From the back side of the right side of the vehicle, behind the passenger.
Okay. And did you see anyone in the driver's seat of the vehicle?
I did.
What did that person look like?
She was a light skin black woman who looked relatively the same age with a blonde wig on.
Okay. Can you describe the demeanor of the three people that you observed at the location on that day?
Yes. So the first one in the white shirt who approached me, well, he asked me for a ride. And then the darker, taller one, he didn't say anything. Just appeared he was kind of moving or just waiting to see what I was going to respond. And then the driver, which was the young lady that I just described, she looked in shock. She looked like she was saying something to herself and just shocked. That's the best way I can describe her.
Okay. Did you give them a ride on that day?
No, I did not.
All right. And did you make contact with members of the San Antonio Police Department later on to let them know what occurred on that day, April 23rd of 2017?
I did.
All right. We passed the witness, Your Honor.
Defense?
Very briefly, Your Honor. Were you contacted by the police or did you call the police?
I was contacted by the police.
Okay, you didn't call 911 at the time that you saw this, right?
I did not.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Used by the state.
Excused by the defense.
Thank you. All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone during the pendency of this trial. And you can remove the microphone and you're excused.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you your recess at this time, and that's a recess for, I should say, this evening. Right.